There's indicator lights always on, right? You got to be able to forecast and see that there's stuff coming up, challenges coming up. And so our hope is that we create an environment in this class that we can trust one another to know that when we bring these challenges up, all hands on deck want to help you overcome them. Colin speaks about how when you get into these meetings, everybody has their own department and their own swim lane. And we need to be the type of team that can identify when problems are coming up and find ways to overcome these obstacles.
I have a top performer, someone that's passionate and disciplined about the effort, right? This agent's like one of the top dialers on the team. Her work ethics have always led her to have success, right? But now she feels like the new system in place is hurting her and rewarding those that have less effort, right? That do that less daily effort than her.
The old who moved my cheese.
Old who moves my cheese.
Who moved my
That's
cheese.
a good one.
You guys,
Yeah.
That is exactly a way to reframe this.
Somebody thinks their way is always good and you're trying to show them a different way or why something else works. You have to kind of show them what someone else is doing, that they're doing the same and it does work versus the system.
You can't outperform your attitude. What you believe about work shows up in how you do the work, and how you do the work determines your results. Fix the attitude, everything else follows. So I think it's also important that, when we see change and when we agree to a time frame of I will commit to the next 2 weeks doing it your way, I also need to remember that my attitude is important.
Culture to me is very important, right? It's a very important thing. I try to create a really good culture within my team. One of the challenges that I have there sometimes is that not everyone have their camera on. And to me, that's a problem. Personally, it irks me, right? But I don't want it to be the theme of my meeting, right? Where I'm like arguing with people about that, because there's so many other messages and other things that I want to relay in that meeting that's more important.
What have you done so far to try to get them to turn their cameras on?
Yeah, good question. Not a whole lot of pounding, right? Suggesting conversations offline, online when I see them.
First thing on top of my mind is really to know the why, because I'm the type of person who wanted to eliminate their excuses. Is it because of the environment they feel uncomfortable? Do I need to look bad the next day so they can feel comfortable showing up their faces when they wake up? Right? But no, I just wanted to eliminate the whys. But I think what's important is really how we tolerate them, because if you would let them pass on that specific day, then they can just do it every single day as well. So hold them accountable. If you already had the conversation with the person and then you see that they don't have the camera on, you still have to hold them accountable. I would maybe joke around in the beginning until I would have a personal conversation again that, hey, this is something that is non-negotiable for me. We have to do it. I mean, you just have to not tolerate it.
An excuse doesn't have to be something that's a lie. It can be 100% valid, but that's still an excuse, right? And it stops us from growing. Let's work on be the example. So I will, the state framework from Crucial Conversations. These are the facts. My story is, this is hurting our team because it's hurting our culture. And the expectation is that every time that you are in a meeting, you will have your camera on.
Practice is the way you play. And it means a lot to me, because if you're going to show up to a game without your glove or your uniform, well, you're not going to play well. And it sort of applies to cameras in a way. Like, the way you practice is the way you play. If you're going to play a game, you're going to have all your utilities, all of your tools. See, if that's the rule, like if you're going to play baseball, you got to have a glove. But I'm not going to show up with a glove. Well, you're not going to play very well, and you're going to let your team down.
If I focus on the small things, the big things will correct themselves. If I can hold everyone accountable on turning on your camera, off mute, and being present, I'm going to have the most productive team that day because everyone's bought in, ready to go, and checked in.
Right? We have to evaluate and think, and that critical thinking component allows us to get to a healthy leadership team, right? So, critical thinking, huge part of it.
That's what I want to identify today in this class is looking at things and saying, you know what, can it be better? Right? Instead of it's working. Yeah, no kidding. Obviously everything's working. We're all in this class together. Everything is working, but can it be better? And I just want to give you one example of this is that I guess it took up until 1972 to add wheels to a suitcase. I mean, we've had suitcases from forever, since the 1800s.
You just stopped carrying your suitcase like 6 months ago.
I just did a couple weeks ago. 1972, they decided to say, let's put some wheels on this thing. It would make it that much better.